This podcast is gonna be good.
Is this podcast gonna be any good? It's not working. It says concentrate and ask again. Is this gonna be any good?
We got a corner.
It just stalled out.
You broke it.
All right, welcome to
Zach
the Church Misfits podcast.
Does Zach know how to use an 8-ball? Nope, I don't either.
It's broken. Welcome to the Church Misfits crap. Welcome to the Church Misfits podcast. I'm Zach. I'm here with Will.
Hello.
And Chris from Cinefanatics.
Hey.
And we're trying something new today. So today, we're going to take a new movie that just came out.
Captain Marvel?
Shazam,
Oh, Shazam. Yeah, that's right.
formerly known as Captain Marvel. And we're going to break it down a little bit. We watched this movie, and I have this idea that movies, TV, stories in general, inspire me, encourage me, and affect me in the real life. That I don't just watch a movie unaffected, but like it goes into my here and now. So that's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. So initial reaction. Let's just start here, very base level. Shazam.
A brief review.
You seen it? Well, it's thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, okay.
I
So
like
thumbs.
it. No,
Yeah.
it's good.
I give it a thumbs up.
All right, solid thumbs up. I think we all decided from the get-go, probably our favorite DC movie so far,
Yeah, easily.
which is like a pretty low bar.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't really decided yet which one I like the best, but it's up there. It was probably the most entertaining one I've
I
had
was
so far. So
pleasantly surprised.
yeah,
Low expectations
Yes.
make for pleasantly surprised. So give us, Cinefanatics, you're a pro at this. You have your own YouTube channel. You do this for a living. Give us like your quick 30-second synopsis.
for a living. 30 like of the movie, like so boy gets superpowers basically. That's kind of it's so basically if you've seen Big with Tom Hanks, it's that movie but just add in some crazy like godlike superpowers. And there you go. Like what does a boy do when he all of a sudden learns that he grows into a man and has superpowers just with the speaking of just one word?
Yeah. It's a boy learning to be an adult as that adult learns to be a superhero.
Yeah, it's so
all
layered.
at the same time. So here's the deal. We're going to do spoilers and all sorts of stuff. So if you listen beyond this point, you've been warned.
If you have not seen the movie, turn this podcast off.
Yeah.
Go see the
unless
movie
you
and then
do-
come back.
I feel
I'm
like
waiting for it to
maybe
come
people
out.
have already done that.
Yeah. So what did you guys walk away with? Just share some of your initial thoughts.
Initial thoughts. Well, what you just said kind of made me think like, boy becomes a man, man becomes superhero. I feel like that's kind of like ministry in a in a nutshell.
Totally.
Do you want to jump into tie-ins?
Yeah,
already?
no, definitely. Let's do
Okay.
that. Let's just kind of see where this goes. First time doing it. You and I and some other guys here in the local Austin area do a thing called the Superhero Support Group.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the heartbeat of it. We believe that we all have superhero powers and we don't want to sleep on our gifts.
For sure.
And maybe some of you guys have superpowers at home.
As a note, you're not talking about people who have the ability to shoot lightning from their hands
I could tell you, but no.
without rubbing their feet on the carpet multiple times first.
Maybe. Edwin can like work something. I don't know. But no. But like our superpowers might be like love or patience or, kindness, or I'm a really gifted business guy, or he's a musician, or I'm a YouTube creator. But how do we use those gifts for the betterment of the world? Which is kind of Billy
Batson? Yeah.
Billy Batson. It's kind of the thing that he's up against. You have him and then his foil character. Like, I can use these gifts for good, or I can use these gifts for bad.
Yeah, and
Every
you,
superhero movie.
and you see like at the beginning, as he's becoming Shazam, he's like, oh, I'm getting all sorts of popularity. Let's make a YouTube channel. Let's use this for my own benefit and not for the benefit of others. And you see that when he's showing off in front of people and he causes disaster to happen, that he has to go and try to save the day himself after crashing that bus,
Yeah, or to buy beer.
or to buy beer. Yeah.
To get into adult establishments. At first, he was feeling out his powers, sowing his oats.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of turned into that initial like montage of him just being really reckless with his powers. It's kind of like summarizes the phrase "great power comes great responsibility."
It's
That's what she
Shazam,
said.
not Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's all the same. No, it's not. But
That hurts.
I'll probably regret that later. But No, it for sure you see that like instantly he's given this like great ability and he goes out and he misuses it and he sees immediate repercussions of being reckless. And I don't know, it I think like for me, especially like a young person who felt just kind of thrown into this whole ministry world, like that was very much like, oh, I'm in charge of a budget now and I'm in charge of a group of teenagers who are looking to me for guidance. And I was like, oh wow. And the first couple of weeks were rough, but I eventually got my footing. Fortunately, there were no like super villains. I had to, I mean, Satan, I guess.
I'm just gonna drop it on a.
It's like getting out of your own way. You're your own villain.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Shazam 2.
Well, that's good. Okay, but that's real. That kind of sets up the whole dilemma in the movie, right? Everybody was their own worst enemy because you're up against the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see envy and lust and pride and all these different physical embodiments of things that we all fight every day. Mm-hmm. I really thought lust would be hotter.
Yeah.
No, but that's it. It's like low key, like it sneaks into your world.
Like,
I think that's the point. It's like super ugly.
Yeah.
Just because like at the core, like what it does to people is super ugly.
Ooh, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought even in that way, the movie did a really good job of, representing our everyday battle.
Yeah.
In a super special effects.
Well,
kind of way.
What I wonder is there anything to the effect of you see what Billy's goal is? He's trying to find his mom again because he's a foster kid orphan. He's trying to find his mom that he was separated from years ago, and that's his like main goal until he all of a sudden gets these superpowers, and then when he's Shazam, that goal kind of flies out the window. It's now all about the Shazam powers. I wonder if there's anything like. So that reflects real life in a certain way. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something to that.
Yeah, well, as a dude with daddy issues, any way I could mask my daddy issues and move on, definitely. Yeah. And if I could fly, that would be a great masking tool. Don't just numb your pain.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I think we all kind of have that moment where like this thing that we thought we wanted and needed our whole lives doesn't turn out being as good as we thought it'd be. And it's just kind of like a realistic thing where it's like, oh, this whole time I was pursuing this selfish dream, and once I achieved it, it kind of sucked. In the end, the result wasn't what I thought it'd be. And so it kind of points you to realize like, oh man, like I haven't been living as holistically and for me, like spiritually as possible. And so I don't know. I saw just like as I've gotten more into the ministry world, like that's just stuff I always look for so I can have like little talking points with my students. And so ministry's kind of made me an old man where I'm like, well, what'd you think about the spiritual aspect of things? And they're like, it was a good movie. Okay, just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that point. I mean, you're chasing after your own desires, and meanwhile, you've got all these gifts and whatnot that you've been bestowed with, and that you're called to use in a certain way, and you're kind of putting it on the back burner because you're trying to chase after something that you want that's honestly not as good as what you could have if you're actually
for sure
chasing after what your gifts and passions are leading you to do.
Yeah, you get totally wrapped up in maybe even something good like finding your mom and miss out on the great calling that you have, which you've been designed and created to do.
Yeah.
But when you understand your true identity and the fullness of your superpowers, then you really start to live. Okay, and I even thought maybe it was a little heavy-handed in that, like, there was power in the name. He had to say the name. Yeah. That's what unlocked the superpowers. That power lived inside of him whenever he said the name. 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
The testing. Maybe it's
literal
just because,
demons.
Kind of in your face. But like on the back end of Lent, the testing, like only one is found worthy.
Yeah.
And like so many didn't pass the test. For me, this hit home in a lot of ways. It was easy to think about spiritually.
Yeah.
But then you get to the point where he's like taking that name and he's spreading it to others, his family, his foster brothers and sisters, and they all of a sudden become empowered because they're receiving that name that he's spreading to them too. So
there's power. Sing it. Just play us out. Time to play some keys.
Where's the organ?
And okay, did they get all the powers? Just a quick question.
I think each one represented a specific power. Like one had the strength, one had the
that's what it looked like.
Speed,
but he maintained all his powers. And I did think it was interesting. Last battle, Envy was like the one that held on. That was like the strongest of the demons. I think that resonates with each person everywhere, all of us.
For sure.
So
I also just thought it was funny how initially I didn't think the oldest sister didn't have any powers. And so she was just kind of doing her thing, like fighting off demons. I was like, what is she? Oh, courage. Like that was a thing as well, listed as a power.
she had courage?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah, that was like her.
Yeah.
She had to have something else, right? I feel like she got shafted.
she got a cool suit. I mean,
They all flew away at the end, right? Didn't they all fly?
I
think so.
maybe. I don't know.
I think
Maybe
that's
they're
Grease.
all growing in their powers. Also,
We'll get into the car.
Yeah, the Shazam mobile.
Yeah, we can talk
The strength of Danny Zuko.
the leadership and theological implications of the post-credit scene with that
Mr. Mind
little worm.
caterpillar. Yeah, he's a little
Red Room.
caterpillar with supernatural smartness or something like that. There's a better word for smartness, I'm sure.
Intelligence.
There it is.
That's the smartness.
There's
word
the
for
word.
smartness. All right. Well, with that is Shazam. Go see it. Let us know what you think.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Mediocre. Good movie.
Oh,
So,
I give it 2 Shazams,
hey.
which makes me just me again. You
All
say
right.
Shazam? Yeah.
Well, with that, everybody, grab a hold of your shaft and say Shazam.
Shazam.
Shazam.